Most people think Lego has always been successful. Colorful bricks that kids love forever. But in 2003, the company was weeks from collapse, losing $1 million every single day. The most beloved toy brand in history was dying. This is the untold story of how a 35-year-old outsider saved Lego by destroying everything that made it famous. Knudstorp is the architect of corporate resurrection, the Danish executive who took over when Lego was technically bankrupt and bleeding cash faster than any toy company in history. They called him the Brick Doctor. But he really performed the most brutal business surgery ever recorded. Every time you step on a Lego brick today, you're experiencing the result of the most dramatic corporate comeback in toy industry history. It began in the 1990s when Lego was crushing the competition. For decades, the Danish company could do no wrong. Kids were obsessed. Parents trusted the brand. Revenue was growing consistently year after year, so Lego did what most successful companies do when they're winning. They got cocky and started doing everything: clothes, watches, TV shows, video games, theme parks, board games, even jewelry, more products, more categories, more distractions from their core business. But something was catastrophically wrong behind the colorful marketing campaigns. Nobody was questioning their strategy because the brand seemed invincible. Lego's leadership had become intoxicated by their own success. They were making decisions based on creative excitement rather than business fundamentals. Nobody was tracking which products actually made money versus which ones were bleeding cash. The founders weren't typical corporate executives focused on quarterly profits. They were creative visionaries who believed Lego could become a lifestyle brand spanning every category imaginable. While competitors stayed focused, Lego scattered their resources across dozens of unrelated ventures. They hired 30 brilliant designers from top European design schools to create innovative new products. The problem? These designers knew nothing about toy manufacturing or cost management. While established toy companies were optimizing for profitability, Lego quietly built the most expensive and complex product line in their history. They created sets with fiber optic cables, micromotors, and thousands of unique parts that cost more to manufacture than they sold for. By 2003, Lego was producing over 12,000 different brick types and components. Their supply chain was designed for 1950s retail, but operating in a Walmart-dominated marketplace. They had no real-time demand forecasting, no synchronized manufacturing, and no idea which products were profitable. The company was hemorrhaging $800 million in debt, while losing $160 million annually in negative cash flow. Warehouses overflowed with unsold inventory. Their equity ratio crashed to 54%, technically insolvent. Multiple board members discussed splitting the company or selling to private equity. Lego was literally weeks from ceasing to exist. Then the family made a desperate decision that shocked the toy industry. The Lego dynasty tried to save themselves by hiring their first non-family CEO. Jorgen Knudstorp was just 35 years old with zero toy industry experience. He was a McKinsey consultant who specialized in corporate turnarounds. Most industry experts predicted he would fail spectacularly. How could an outsider understand a 70-year-old family business built on creativity and childhood wonder? But Knudstorp asked a brutal question that nobody else dared to voice. What if the problem isn't the market or competition? What if the problem is Lego itself? His first move was surgical and ruthless. He conducted a complete financial audit and discovered that Lego had no idea which products made money. Sets where the micromotor alone cost more than the entire retail price. Products that lost money on every single unit sold. He slashed product lines by 30% and laid off 1,000 employees at a company where workers were treated like family for generations. It was emotionally devastating, but mathematically necessary to save $600 million over 2 years. Then came the most controversial decision in Lego history. Knudstorp simplified everything. Reduced 12,000 unique parts to 6,000. focused on Lego sets people actually wanted instead of what designers thought was innovative. Rebuilt their entire supply chain for modern retail distribution. But the real genius was what he did next. Subscribe and settle in because this will surprise you. Instead of fighting digital entertainment, he embraced it strategically. Lego partnered with massive franchises like Star Wars and Harry Potter. Suddenly, their brick sets had compelling stories and characters kids already loved. Star Wars alone boosted revenue by 35% because it combined building with narrative. They also discovered something unexpected. Adults were still building. Instead of ignoring this market, Lego started co-creating with superfans through programs like Lego Ideas, turning customers into unpaid product developers. The resistance from traditional Lego purists was immediate and fierce. Longtime fans hated licensed sets. Employees mourned the lost creative freedom. Industry analysts predicted the partnerships would cheapen the brand. But Knudstorp had designed the comeback to be unstoppable. Every decision was based on data rather than emotion. Every product had to prove profitability before launch. Today, Lego generates over $8 billion in annual revenue and is the world's largest toy company by revenue. They passed Mattel in 2015 and never looked back. The company that was weeks from bankruptcy became more valuable than most Fortune 500 companies. The 2014 Lego Movie became a cultural phenomenon, earning $469 million worldwide and proving that the brand had regained its cultural relevance beyond just toys. Knudstorp never became a celebrity CEO or wrote business books about his turnaround. He quietly rebuilt Lego's foundation and then stepped back, letting the brand speak for itself. But every time you see a Lego set that tells a story, every time you notice how perfectly the pieces fit together, you're experiencing the result of the most brutal corporate surgery in toy history. They don't just make toys, they make childhood dreams. And it took nearly destroying the company to remember what made them irreplaceable. If this story changed how you see corporate comebacks, subscribe and comment below. Which other near-death business resurrection should we expose next?